Hi everyone, this video features one of our free 15-minute bubble coaching sessions available to all our members at planetnocode.com. In this session, we work out together why auto-binding isn't working and how to create a new database item using workflow conditional statements to make sure that the database stays free from duplicate entries.
There we go. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Right. So this is a basic calculator. These are all the expressions. Um, and this is the input box. And
Yeah.
and then this is the group. But it's the data source.
Yes.
That's the thing, because obviously it can't save it to anywhere because it doesn't know what the data source is, I'm presuming.
Yeah. So auto binding can only refer like one level up to the group,
Yeah.
and that's where it identifies where it's going to save the values. So yeah, that data source has to be filled.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to work out how to do. And I'll show you my data section first. So I made a separate field with 2018 data because it's not anything to do with the user.
Yeah.
And I've got all my fields that I do for each input box on my calculator.
Yeah.
And so then I can reference it to the relevant thing.
Okay. So I think it's thinking about the process the user is going to go through in your app.
Yeah.
There does need to become a point where you have a workflow of create a new entry in your database for that 2018 data.
Yeah.
But then you can give that group a data source using a workflow. Something that will get you going would be when the page loads, you just create a new entry and you give that group the data source, and then you could work out a way to kind of handle duplicates or if someone refreshes the page. Is that a good place to start?
Can you explain that again, please?
Yeah, sure. So we have, in order for the auto binding to work, we have to have excuse me, displayed some data in that group. And what I mean is that either use the data source tab line your mouse is over now, or you can use a workflow to put a entry from your database into a group.
Right.
But in order to do that, we have to have a blank entry.
Yeah.
So a simple solution, which I think you could then build upon, would be to have a workflow on page load. Okay, yeah. So you're wanting to be able to refresh the page, but the data is still there. Now, will a user have more than one 2018 entry, or you just keep it simple and have one for now?
What, as in have one thing they want to save?
Yeah, a display of this data. Will you need to have a way of handling a user having more than one table like this?
They've only got this one, and then I've got it goes up to 2021. It's all the same.
Oh, okay.
But I was thinking that I can just save that in a different place. That won't interfere, will it? If I
No, yeah, you could use a different data type. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I can
per page, nothing will. I won't. This will be the only thing that will be saved.
Okay. So I can guide you through what I think would be a good solution to this, if you like.
Yeah, please.
So I would, if you go onto data for me, please. We need to have a field on user to store each of these years. So if we just do 2018 for now, if you can create a new field for 2018 data, and then the field type is 2018 data.
Yeah. Cool.
And then, create. Okay, so now what we can do is on page 2018, we can go for workflow. On page, add a new event, and that can be on page load. So if you click to the right of your current event, we can create a new one. So general page is loaded, rather, that's the term. Okay, and then we can add a new action here, and this will create for us an entry in the database. So data things on the tab there. Yeah, create a new thing.
Yeah.
And then the type is 2018. Okay, and we can leave the fields blank. But in order to stop this action happening every time the same user loads the page, we need to save it into the user and then check to see whether that is empty or not. So if we add a step 2,
yeah,
and then we can go onto account, make changes to user, and then change another field. And this is where we select the users field for 2018. Yeah. And if you add it where it says click, we can refer to step 1 and put the result of step 1 into that user field. Brilliant.
yeah.
And then if you click on the when page is loaded, so the kind of the parent square of your workflow, the one right at the start, when page is loaded, the current workflow run. Yeah. Now we can add in a conditional statement so that this only runs once, and so that can be only when current user 2018 data is empty.
Right.
Okay. And okay, so then I think we can go back to design and we will test this. So you can give group data either using a workflow or using the data source, but we'll use data source because that cuts down on needing to have another workflow. And I think it will work this way. So data source, we can go current user 2018 data, because now we know that if it's the first time or the fifth time they've loaded the page, there will be something there.
Okay, yeah.
So I think we could test that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I input some figures here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's not a problem. We can resolve that. So if you just click OK on that.
Yeah.
So auto binding has got its own section in the privacy tab in data. So if we go back into your editor, we can quickly resolve that. So it's under data.
Yeah.
And then privacy. And
oh yeah,
yeah, we have to turn auto binding on. This user is current user. So then if you oh no, that's for editing the user. Sorry, we don't need that one. It's in 2018 data. We have to set up a similar statement. So I would change this to current user is this user. So that you don't get a crossover between different users. So I think it's the is statement.
it
is oh no, that's not. I think if you remove everything on that line, we need to have the same expression that was in user. So maybe you have to put, oh no, beg your pardon. If you go this 2018 data creator, that's what we need.
Oh yeah.
Is current user.
Is current user.
So that stops it from blending between the users. Also, just the word on current user, Bubble has a mechanism using cookies, which if you don't have to register a user to start using the current user parameter, that if you take actions before a user is registered, it uses a cookie to identify that user. Then if you register them, it inherits everything that it presumes came from before the registration.
Right.
Okay. So you've got auto binding turned on. Let's have a test of that again. Okay, that suggests it's saving the loading bar across the top.
Right. Should I then go back, return, and then go back onto the page?
If you mind just giving it a refresh, because I'm not sure what your return button does, just so we can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's worked, doesn't it?
Yeah, that saves. Yeah. So then if I were to return to like the previous page and come back, would it still be there?
It should do. Let's try.
Let's try. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
so I can do that for each one now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
you might want to consider, depending on how, if there are additional ways you want to work with the data, you could have, you don't have to have a different data type for every year, especially if you're using the same fields. You could always go with a single data type, like call it yearly data.
Yeah.
And then if you have a field in that, you can have 2018 in that field as a way of like filtering it
Oh,
down.
so you can have each year as one field in one data type.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm thinking of kind of how to make the database efficient.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I'll do that.
yeah, and then if I show you something quick, just as a
Yeah,
point of how you develop that. So that would be assuming that every year has the same diesel, petrol, natural gas,
yeah,
etc. So well, how do we do that? You then don't need a different page for every year.
okay.
So oh, let me have a think. If you click on the page, just the page background, you can see that you can give the page a type of content.
Oh yeah.
And so that then means the common example I use is if you've got like an address book app, you can give a page content of contact. And that then means when the user clicks on a contact from the list, they go through to that contact page. You don't need a page for every contact because you can create a template to display contacts in. So if you were to change the type of content to your data field, like yearly, and then if you go back, I'll just give you one final pointer on this to get you going with it. If you go back to your index page where you've got the list of the years.
Not that one. Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then if you just click on the button, I'll show you how to populate that page with data. And then we have a look at the workflow. Just any workflow for any of the buttons.
Yeah.
So if you then click on step 1 for me, where it's go to page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So data to send. So if you have, going back to the address book, if you have a page that's set up as show single contact, you can then send the contact with the go to page. So that way you only end up with one page template, but you can display all the different pages on it.
Okay.
That will require a bit of a rethink about how we've stored the data and recalled it, but that leads you towards a bit more of a lean and a leaner and a less work for you. You know, if you have to, it's just about cutting down the work for you in the future. If you wanted to add another field into the table, it's best to have only one page rather than multiple pages you've got to update.
That makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah.
Has that been helpful?
That has been really helpful. Thank you very much for that.
Brilliant. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, do subscribe. We put out videos every week on the Planet No Code channel. And we only started a few months ago, so we're kind of just working out the best thing that we can offer through the website. So do just keep an eye on that.
I'll definitely subscribe and have a look.
Yeah, because we're wanting just to kind of provide the ultimate resource, whether you're a beginner to advanced, building a bubble.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think that's everything.
Well, all the best. Thanks, Henry.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.